life matters.
We always talk about white people killing black people, but we don't talk enough about black on black crime. We kill each other.
My life matters.
Kansas City is different.
Stuff can happen at a moment.
My life matters.
Say if somebody made me mad, I do the first thing that comes to my mind.
My life matters.
We just go and just retaliate now or just get revenge on anything.
My life matters.
I mean, we've got about 170 homicides already in the city this year.
My life matters.
I saw the news, and an 11-year-old girl was shot and killed, and that's all I saw.
one thing I don't want to spend any time thinking about: presentation software.
What I love about FreeShow is in many ways its ease of use.
Hey, I'm Jared Ellis from Fellowship Regional Church in Iola, Kansas.
My name is Paul Hubert. I'm the lead pastor of Southside Christian Church in Fort Pierce, Florida.
In working with church apps, when FreeShow was brought onto the scene, it absolutely took over for us.
We're a church of roughly about 150 folks. I'm not super technologically advanced, but I'm able to put together displays that are visually engaging and look top notch really every Sunday. Because of the versatility of FreeShow and really the strength of the program.
With FreeShow, we've been able to grab somebody, and because it's so incredibly user-friendly, we can teach them so quickly how to operate the program.
We had an issue with FreeShow that I was struggling to figure out.
So we sent an email, and immediately somebody gets back to us.
And I was actually able to get in touch with the creator of FreeShow directly.
I just need it to work. And that wasn't happening with the presentation software we were using before. So for us, yeah, FreeShow's incredible.
Would we continue using FreeShow if budget wasn't an issue? And yeah, absolutely we would.
If money was no object and it came down to whether or not we were going to use FreeShow or maybe try to use a more expensive program, there's no way in the world that we would go with something else.
What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome to FreeShow Friday. As I get a random phone call. How y'all doing? It's Gary B. Jr. here with you guys, your media consultant, and I am excited to talk to you guys today about FreeShow. We got a lot of cool updates coming out. Beta 2 is out. Just came out a couple hours ago. I got my bright FreeShow pink going on over here just as a representation, just trying to represent. We got some good folks online today. We got Jim Lawyer in. Welcome, my friend. We got Mark Smith in. Welcome, Mark. We got, let's see here, Tony Mobley in the house. We got Verbacious Brian in. What's going on, Mr. Brian from Michigan? The question of the day is, how do you all plan, if you're not already, some of you guys, let me know too in the chat, are you already using CloudSync? Have you been using the new CloudSync feature? I've been working on a video for it. Apparently there was just a new update that just came out, so I'm glad I've been making some notes. I got some good ideas, and we'll talk a little bit about that today as well. But I am excited to see ways that we can make this CloudSync feature even better. In terms of, I say even better, but using it even better. So I got a lot of ideas, but I want to hear how you guys are using it. We got SBU Media in the house. What's going on? That's my friend, I believe, Sabusi So. Yes. What's going on? Then we got J Snow 3543. Is there a way to bypass OBS and send directly to Restream app? Not with FreeShow. There's not currently that I know of, at least. The best way I would say is that. Let's see here. I'm gonna turn my phone on Do Not Disturb because I just got a random call. Let's see. All right. But so if you have a device, so let me put it this way. If you have another device, you know what? No, I don't think you can, because I don't think you can output FreeShow. You would need something to output FreeShow to become like a webcam. And that's where OBS comes in, is really helpful. NDI has some devices like that, I believe. I think on Windows, they got like a NDI webcam, if I'm not mistaken. But you would still need some intermediary device right now, or program, I should say. I'll keep saying device. Let me see here. NDI webcam. And so let's see here. NDI webcam input, feed any content into your stream. All right, so let's see here. This is what we're looking at real quick, just to answer that question from Jay Snow. Yeah. So this is a Windows version only. So webcam input, feed any content into your stream. So you can use something like this and then use that as your webcam into Restream, if that makes sense. So if I go back to tools, let me see. They got different sets of tools, which is crazy. So they got the Windows set of tools that includes a webcam, feed any content into your stream. And then they have, for the Mac, they got the feed any content in your stream. It's called the virtual input. So same idea, just a different setup. So you can use something like that. That would do it as well, right? Let me see here. My head is a little bit off center on that feed. It's not bad. I'll take it. I'll take it. What's up, Mr. Terry Ray? What's going on? What's going on, my friend? Ryan Coverwell in from Zimbabwe. How you doing, my friend? How you doing? Tony, please explain for newbies. That's a good question. So, Tony, which one are you talking about? You talking about the Cloud Sync, or are you talking about the Restream setup that they're talking about? Let me know. And while you let me know, I'm gonna look into fixing my head spacing. It's getting on my nerves. So I got my circle cam here. That's not the same one. Let me go back to here. And this is circle camera. I'm looking at my circle camera and it feels like it's off center and I don't know why. So let me see something here. Okay. That's not bad. I'll do it like that. All right. Okay. So cloud. Okay, perfect, perfect. We're gonna talk all about it today. No worries, no worries. Let's see here. We got Zimbabwe. Someone trying to contact you about your car insurance. That likely, it says something like that, Mark. All jokes aside, it showed the voicemail and it was like, no, this is like a county claim or something like that. I don't know what that's about. It's something generic. Herbaceous likes the purple. Man, I thought it was more pink to my eye. Does it look purple or pink to you guys? Oh man, I was going for pink. But I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like it. I like it too. I like it too. Let's start out. We're going to kick off. So this episode, this discussion today is going to be all about Cloud Sync once we get into it. And we're going to talk about it from a newbie perspective all the way to an advanced perspective. But before we get into that, I want to do what I always do with looking at any comments or questions that came in. Like I said, Free Show Friday is kind of a Q&A session is what it is. And so I want to make sure that we get all the feedback we can from you guys so where you can ask questions and things like that. Mark says it looks purple too. All right, I'll take purple. I got to figure out how to make it pink. Man, I don't know. Maybe that's just something lavender. It looks so lavender to me is a little bit softer than that. I thought it was so tough. Now you got me thinking. I got to go check this out. Hold on. We got to test this out. I got to go back there and look at it. I got to see if I can make it pink. Hold on. I'm going back to the back. Let me see what pink would look like. No, that's not pink. That's red. Now see that looks lavender to me, but I guess it looks the same. Never mind. All right. So yeah, I'm not gonna. I have to figure out how to get it pink. I don't know how to do that. But the idea with this whole idea of what we're gonna jump into questions on from the community. Let me see. I didn't even look and see what this is set to. So let me see what we got here. Let's go into the community. Okay. And I'm gonna do even ones that I responded to. Let's bring those in. All right. And so I'm just gonna go back 6 days ago, 7 days ago, whatever we last left off. Okay. 4 days ago. Somehow. Okay, so this is a question that came up. They said, hey, let me pull it up so you guys can see it. All right, can you guys see that? It's kind of small. Let me see if I can zoom in on it. Nope. Let's do it this way. All right. So they said, hey, Gary, I was wondering after watching this tutorial, if it's possible to somehow let FreeShow see the second slide as the first slide for metadata. I was like, what? And then it says, at this moment, I have it set to showing the metadata, especially CCLI for copyright on the first and the last slide. All right, that was important. That made sense to me. And then they said, preferably, this is from Redeemer International Church. All right, so welcome, Redeemer International Church. This little R looks almost like the Renew Vision R, but maybe I made that up. Maybe there's just a capital R, but a cool logo. Excuse me. Preferably, we don't want it on every single slide. So I'm looking for a way to have a blank slide for preps, and I'm not sure what preps are, but and then the second slide with the lyrics. I'm guessing that's just like the preparation stuff, like the metadata. So you guys in the production world that are in like video production will know more about that than me. I'm more from a film side of things, if anything. So they said, I don't want it on every single slide. So I'm looking for a way to have a blank slide for preps and then the second slide with the lyrics to have the metadata as well as the last slide. All right, I am hoping, I hope I am making sense here. Would you perhaps have a solution for this? Looking forward to hearing from you, and thanks so much for all your tutorials. They are helping us a lot transition to FreeShow. All right, so I gave them my thought, and I'm gonna share with you guys too. My thought, what I told them is I'm going to walk this out in FreeShow Friday, but I said, it sounds like your first slide and your last slide needs copyright info and on it and nothing else. And then I said, for that, I would create a template that has the copyright info on it with the main lyrics text box. So having your regular song lyrics in a space or a box for your lyrics, and then having another spot where you're going to put your metadata at the bottom. And then I would add a condition to the copyright info to only show if the main lyrics box is empty. All right. Then all you have to do is make sure you have an empty first and last slide. So now we're going to figure this out with my lavender background. That was really cool. I appreciate you guys giving me that good feedback there. I want to make sure I don't miss anything. All right. So let's go into this question real quick from Redeemer International. And I got FreeShow here. Let's go into we'll do a new show, and I'm going to go into FreeShow training. Boom, and we're going to call this. I guess I got a FreeShow Friday one too, but I'll call this FreeShow training. We'll call this metadata, and we'll just say metadata test. All right. And so I'm going to add a show in here. So I'm going to go to my shows at the bottom left, and I'm going to pull this up just a bit so we can see a little bit more. And I'm going to go to a song. They said they want a song. And I've got a tag here for a template blur box default template. So I'm going to have to change that. So I'm going to right click on here. I'm going to remove that for now. Let's see here. Category template. Let's, is there a way to just clear it out? Oh, none. There we go. So that first one there, none. All right. So now songs does not have a category template. That's something to keep in mind. If you've got those active, this will not apply or will not work. But what you could do is have this be a part of your category template for all your songs. This is what I would say Redeemer International would need to do. All right. Now I need to find a song that has some metadata. Let's see here. This one, I'm looking at the metadata. I got the name. I don't have any CCLI information, which is fine. But that's cool. So we'll do that. We'll do All Hail King Jesus. All right. And then what I'll do is I'll fake some metadata. I'm going to put in all zeros here. And then we'll do, let me see, firm foundation. I'll put some more metadata in here for CCLI. All right. And I'll drag that one in. All right. So we got two songs. And what I'm going to do next is make a template that involves what I need. So template wise, you can pick any template you want to start with. I just went into my songs or templates, and I went to my songs category for templates. And the cool part here is you can pick anything that you want to and just kind of update it. So I've already got one that I made here. Actually, this called Blurbox 2. And so this one's a default or a built-in one. So you would just, I just like the way it looks. So I just copied it. I just right clicked on it, and then I just hit duplicate, and it automatically made another one. And then I just added some stuff to it. Okay. So you notice down there, metadata for artists. There's an artist here. Let me see. It's not showing up though. Oh, okay. For Firm Foundation, there's an artist. Let's see, a Firm Foundation, he won't. Now that is interesting. It's showing the title. The title is switched. No, the title's there, but the metadata down here is not showing the actual artist. Interesting. Okay, we'll figure that out. So let's do this from beginning. We'll right click on this. We're going to duplicate one and do a different one because that one is not doing it. All right, so this one's going to be, I'm going to say blur box metadata. All right. So I got my template here. I'm going to right click to edit that template. And this one has a condition built into it. We're going to get rid of that because I don't know what that is. All right. Now, we need to add in some space. So I'm going to put the CCLI and the title and stuff all at the bottom. It can be on the bottom left or bottom right, completely up to you. Great time for learning free show. I agree. I agree. Thank you for showing up, WWJK 102.9 FM. We are talking about how to get this question answered from the community that came in this week on the YouTube channel. So I'm adding in an item. So I'm gonna go up here to the items. The only thing I have right now is one text box and it says 1, 2, 3, 4 in it. That's all that's in there. Okay, that's from the default template that was there. Okay, that just shows it can fit up to 4 lines at this size. And just to give you a good notice of it, templates do not reflect the real text that's going to be inside of it. This is just a filler box. Okay, so it's a blank box ultimately, but the numbers are there just so we can see the spacing and the size and all that kind of stuff. So if you wanted to edit it and change the color and all that stuff, you can do that. But once you use this template, the song lyrics or the scripture or whatever it is, this is a song one. So the song lyrics will fill in where those numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 are. Okay, they're just placeholders. All right, and that's with any template. Excuse me, unless you do some type of dynamic value, which we're about to do for this. So I'm gonna go back to my items and I'm going to go to another text box. All right, so the text box came in, it looks exactly like the other one there. And I'm gonna pull this down and I wanna pull it over here. And I actually want it to show up like this. Pull it over here like that. All right, and I don't need it to be that big. I actually pulled this over, so I'm gonna pull this back to where it's under there. Okay, and so I don't need the text to be super big, but I do need to add some dynamic values in. So I'm gonna clear that out and I'm gonna right click in here and I'm gonna select dynamic values. All right, dynamic values are content that is coming from somewhere else that's automatically gonna fill in the space. So I've got project, show, video, audio, timers, variables. All right, these are just the generic ones that kind of are the most used or easily accessible. If you're looking for more distinct ones or more detailed ones, you can hit this little eyeball and it's the more options eyeball. All right, and what happened is now we got all kinds of extra project ones, time ones, show ones, text, image EXIF data, and then this one, metadata. And so I want to put in the title, the artist, and I want to put in the CCLI ID. And I've put that in there for these two, right? So I've added that in there. So I'm going to go ahead and select meta title. And then I'm going to hit next to that meta title, I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to right click again. And I'm going to go to dynamic values. And it automatically saved the eyeball more options open, right? I'm going to put in the artist. I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to right click again. And I'm going to put in another dynamic value. And I'm going to select the CCLI number. All right. Now, these are all like super size big. My rule of thumb, I just like to do a quick shrink to fit and it automatically will fit it in there. And then I'm going to align this text though. And instead of it being, because this is like regular text, it's just going to be filled in from somewhere else. Okay. So I can adjust it. So I don't want it to be centered. I'd rather it be aligned to the left. And so let me click out and see if I can do the whole box. Nope. Got to go line by line. Boom. And bam. All right, so all those are left aligned and they could be a different color if I wanted them to, if I, do all that. But I'm also going to change this box here. I don't even want there to be a background box at all. So I'm going to say none and that should do it. Let me see if there's any CSS. There's got this blur behind it, which that should be fine. I guess it'd be an invisible blur if that's possible. We'll see. But that's what this blur box, because when I add a text box, it automatically duplicated this text box. And so that's completely fine with me. All right, so let's test this out. This is the first step, okay? I'm gonna come back to this to edit, but I wanna make sure we're getting something in there, all right? So let's go to our metadata box, select that, and you'll see it's a little bit blurred, and it shows up, and it just says firm foundation, he won't. It should be showing some more information, the CCLI stuff and all that. For whatever reason, it's not showing up, which that is something I cannot explain. Does anybody else run into this issue? Does anybody else? The NRSV. I don't even know what the NRSV is. New. Are you talking about the NIV, the New International Readers Version? If you're talking about that, then the answer is yes, Tony. All right, so yeah, this should be showing up more information, you guys, and for whatever reason, it's not. So let's right-click and edit our piece again. I wonder if the CCLI data is showing up, like if it's even. All right, let's clear that out, and let's just have CCLI data in there. If I go back to my show and click on my blur box metadata, and let's refresh, it still only shows the title. That, my friends, is not supposed to be the case, but we need to submit it. I don't know what would cause that, because it clearly says meta CCLI, and that's what should show up there in this space that says the title. And that's how the dynamic values are supposed to work, but that's just not how this one is working. So let's go back here. Let's put in a ticket. I don't know what else to tell you. All right, and so we're going to do it all. So we're going to do new issue, and I'm going to go to bug report, and I'm just going to say metadata. Yeah, that's right. Metadata not populating. And this is just so I don't forget. Describe the bug. And I'll just say adding some metadata outside of the title itself. I'm gonna say in dynamic values. All right, so adding song metadata outside the title itself does not populate on templates. All right, and then reproducing, add a text box with metadata of title, TCLI, and artist, and the only thing that will show is the title. All right, and I'm gonna just take a screenshot of this. All right, let's see here. So this is my song, and that one is my actual image. You guys get to see this all real time, so bear with me. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to edit this picture. This is what you guys can do as well. If you got to reproduce it, you want to make sure you show them. So I'm going to do a quick edit here, and I'm going to put in some little notes here to kind of highlight what I'm talking about. So this is, no, that's a text box. I don't need that. I'm going to put just a regular box. And so I'm going to drag that down here to show this is what I have selected. And we'll make it clear. And then I'll put an arrow pointing to that. And then I'll put another arrow pointing from there to that. All right. And then I'll say done. And now I should be able to add that into here. And so you can drag and drop. Let me see where it went. I think it went to my pictures. No, movies. Yep, screenshot. Boom. So I can just drag this in. Let's see here. Not there. Not at the bottom. Let's see here. Screenshots optional. So I'm gonna delete that, and I'll just put it right there where that is. And all right, so it brings the screenshot in. If I preview this, you can hit that little preview and you'll see it's populating my screenshot. And then I'm gonna just put in what type of operating system I'm using. So I'm using Mac, and the FreeShow version I'm using is 1.5.7 v2. And so now if I preview that, in this little preview button, you'll see here, adding metadata outside the title itself does not populate on templates. And I'll say add text box with metadata of title. The only thing that'll show is the title. And macOS, boom, and I'll say create. All right. So all that was because it should work, okay? We have to look for that, Tony. I'm not sure what, I've never used a new revised standard version. So we'll see. But so that's what should show up here. And the idea was that I would go into my edit page. All right. This is a really important tip here. So I would go into my edit page and I would say new slide, and it'll populate a new slide right below. You guys, for whatever reason, this would give me headaches, dragging new slides up and around. What I found out is, and you guys may know this, but if you want to put it above, you put it over to the left of the slide above it. If you want to put it below it, you put it to the right, and it'll automatically populate there. It took me forever to figure that out. So I'm gonna drag this over here, and it goes up top, okay? Completely blank slide, which is fine, but I'm also gonna do the same thing. Actually, I'll keep it just like this for that. And I need to go into, well, yeah, I'll put another one down here. All right, so down at the bottom, we're gonna select this one and say new slide, and it automatically populates. It's down at the bottom, all right? I'm gonna go back to my show. And for this, so then we got this blank slide here. I'm gonna put in that, that media piece back on because it's there. And I'm gonna go to my online media, and we'll go to, pretty sure I got this from Pixabay. I'm gonna say mountain. And it looks kind of like that one, but I think it's this one. All right, so I can drag that on here just so I can have it, and then I'll take that one off and it'll still be the same picture. All right, but I got to go back to my templates, because what I want to do with my template is I want to add a condition that says, hey, I want to show this particular content, all right, in here, but I also want to make sure that when I show it, so I'm gonna go back to this one. Oh, there it goes. Look at that. It automatically put that number in there on a blank one. That's what we wanted. But for whatever reason, it doesn't carry over to these. That is strange, you guys. I'm not sure what's up with that. Let's right click on this and edit again. I'm gonna go to edit, and I'll add in those other items because that's exactly what it should do. So I go here, I'm gonna right click in this space, add a dynamic value. We're gonna put the title of the song. I'm gonna hit enter. Let's see if it'll carry over. I'm gonna put the title of the song again, another dynamic value, not the title, but the actual artist. And it should show here. So this is Maverick City, all right? Maverick City Music. Now, if I go to, oh, so I got that there. Now here's the thing. I don't wanna show this dark background piece if there's no text in here. This is one condition. So I'm gonna right click on this. And this is what I do with all of my templates, default ones and everything. That's why I wasn't showing up earlier. But if I go to conditions here, the item itself, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the name of the item. All right. That's what I'm on. I'm going to say show item if the text is not blank. All right. So that's condition number 1. Boom. All right. Now for this one, I want to put another condition. I want this to only show if the text is blank. All right. So I'm going to right click on this text box, go to conditions, and I'm going to select the drop down. I'm going to pick my metadata one. All right. And it says show item if dynamic value. Nope. I'm going to say if text. Let's see here. Is, yep, is blank. I want it to be from that other one though. Let me see here. That's a good point. Oh, no, that's right. I need to go here. Show item if this text is blank, because I right clicked on this. So I'm starting my condition with this text box. So that's fine. So it's all tied to this metadata text box. Now I'm going in and I'm saying, show this little metadata text box if this particular text box is blank. Okay. If it's blank, then show this box. All right. So we got these two conditions here. That was a mouthful, I know. So now let's go to show. We got our template. I'm going to select that template again. Let's see. Let's pick this one. We got nothing. All right. That didn't go as planned. Let's right click on this again. Let's make sure we got that right. Edit. Let's go right click on this. Conditions. Show this item if the text is not. Boom. That's fine. Now on this one, conditions. Show item if. So it doesn't let me pick. Okay, if text is blank. Let's see if we got to do it that way. Maybe that's what it is. From foundation, he won't. This shows the title of what that is going to look like. But I thought it was something different. So I might have been mistaken on that, you guys. Let's see. Show. All right. Yeah, so it's not doing what I expected it to do. Oh, let me click it again. Nope. Still not doing it. This should be gone. Let me right click on this. Edit. Right click. And you guys, let's see here. Yeah, no, you're good. Okay. Okay. Show item if the text is not blank. That's perfectly fine to some degree, even though it's not making that it's not making it completely go away on the other one. And so this one, if I right click, go to conditions, show item if text is blank. It says a type, a timer, a variable, a dynamic value. I don't want a dynamic value. I want it to be dependent upon this item here. And that's where it gets interesting. Okay, so if I go here, it's like that. It changes the whole, so it changes the whole item. So show item if that, and then it says and. If I hit that, it gives me the same drop down. And I don't want that. So my idea is not going to prove true, you guys. And I can't change that. But the goal was to show this item if the other item had no text in it. And that was the goal. But it's not showing. So, and it shows blank here. And that's just empty. Let's see here. Can you use two templates and use action to select a template to show the CCLI or text? Yeah, I might have to. SBU Media is available on GitHub as XML format, English NRSV. Thanks, Sabusi. So that's cool. That might be what I'm gonna have to do. Man. If we think this through, based on what Jim was talking about, if we made a separate template that showed it, I'll have to put it. I'm trying to think about a way that I can make it to where it doesn't. It's completely automated, Jim. So that's my thought. So you were saying if you can use two templates and use actions to select a template to show the CCLI or text. Yes. We could do it that way, or we could do it as an overlay, as an action with an overlay to show it, and it can automatically be there. But yeah, I thought it would do that. I thought it would show up the right way, which is odd that it's not. So we'll come back to it. I have to think more about that one. I don't have a clear answer for it right away. So let me clear this out. We don't need an action for that. Let's see if it just shows up. I'm gonna clear this condition out, I should say. And if I click this, it's weird because it keeps defaulting to this template as opposed to that one. So if I go to this and I select that, it does the same thing. There seems to be some kind of glitch with it not showing all the data unless there's an empty slide for some reason, and I'm not sure what's causing that. So let me see if we can figure out if there's a problem overall with the conditions, and then we'll kind of go from there. I'll revisit this one. I'll have to. Jay Snow says, is Cloud Sync like a universal login for FreeShow? If so, what is it used for if you have several workstations? Yep, that's what we're going to be talking about here shortly, for sure. That's a great question. Great question. And let me go back real quick. Let's get some final questions out the way. I don't think there were many other questions. Let me make this big though. We had some comments. Somebody said, good morning. That was T Hooper. Good morning. Looking forward to a tutorial. Looking forward to the tutorial about Cloud Sync. That was from last week. Really need the support, right? Now was Tronix2481. Let's see here. Will this work with Orion Split Extender? They were asking about 2 separate languages. This is Santos H. Patavita. Yes, it will. And they said, thanks, mate. This person has some good feedback. This is Fredito Fuentes. They were asking about it being a little bit difficult when we do run into issues, like, for example, what I just did. They were saying it makes it hard, and they said it could affect the credibility. They would encourage me to have a firm understanding to run through several times before making a video, which I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the comments. I gave them some feedback here and just said, I understand. In the past, so all of last year, 2025, my goal was to get you guys out videos as fast as possible. And I was doing that as best I could. I think we released over 200 videos last year, which was great. And it basically established this huge library of all this different content. And in those videos, my role was to really just be authentic with you guys, because I was learning FreeShow just like you guys were. And I say some of you guys probably knew it a lot better than I did. So that's just the fact of the matter. But my goal was not so much to be the master of every piece of content. It was really just to help equip you all to be able to approach it yourself. And that's still my goal, is to help equip you all to be able to approach FreeShow and feel safe and comfortable doing it. So if I make a mistake, if I have a hiccup in the middle of a video, I would rarely edit it out unless it was something that was just a blatant problem, and I might cut it out. But typically I would just talk through it, because my other goal was to equip you all as media leaders to be comfortable with what we always run into as media leaders, is that there's going to always be some type of hiccup that can come up, right? Maybe your live stream doesn't start the way you want to, or maybe the microphone's not working the way you want to, or maybe you're not getting the audio out like you need to, or maybe the show, whatever it may be, right? And so those things to me are part of that learning curve that I want you all to understand, that it's not about being perfect. It's about us being able to grow and understand how to use the tools we have with excellence. So if I cut out all the errors or all the issues that I ran into, it would lead you all to believe that there's not supposed to be any issues. To me, this is my perspective on it. Okay. And so my goal was, hey, I don't mind what I did, but at the same time, I do plan to spend time leveling up the videos that I've made in the past, right? So my goal is to really fine tune the style of the videos I make, which means that it is going to take more time. Okay, that's why I haven't come out with the sync video yet, because it's just taking more time to prepare it and so forth and so on, which I'm looking forward to. I love the idea. It just changes the way I have to think about this. So my mind frame is totally different in terms of 2026, or from 2025 to 2026. But it wasn't because of this comment. That was literally just my goal going into it, is that I wanted to touch base with you all more often. So I doubled that up by doing In the Lab on Mondays, a live show, and then Fridays, a live show with FreeShow Friday, because I do value the interactions we have. And then working on some other ideas. And one of those ideas was to change the way I present the videos, where it's more complete, but it takes more time to do so. So I'm looking forward to that. This person asked, so hopefully that makes sense. And they gave some more feedback about with this later on, I think. Oh, down here. Oh, Jordan the driver. Yeah, that was down here. So down in the same comment. All right. This person said, how can I connect my iPhone camera in FreeShow? And they asked that earlier, I thought too. Someone asked that, and I don't know where it went, because I answered it and I don't know where it is now, you guys. All right, but how to connect your iPhone camera. I don't know if anybody's ever done that before. Sheila, yes, we will do that for sure. And Mark says it's all good. Sometimes it's helpful to see the mistakes as well as as how things work. helps to troubleshoot. Absolutely. And that's what we've grown to as a community. So you guys probably expect it. Those who are coming into it that are new to the community, it may throw them off, and I get that. So I'm with you on that one, Mark, that my goal is to really empower you guys as much as I can. And if you can learn from my mistakes, then I'm all for it. I don't claim to be perfect at any of this. So it doesn't bother me. My wife may be a different story. Now she'll get you. Like she's not playing with with the comments, but at the same time, she understands that this is something that I fully expect and I'm prepared and understanding of. So she's loving and caring and protective just as much as I would be of her. She's the same way with me, and just as much as you guys espouse and with you all in your relationships with your spouse as well. So all that to say, you can connect your iPhone camera in FreeShow. The way I would do that is go to your media tab and then go to cameras. And if you are on an Apple device, if you're on an Apple device, your iPhone, if it's on the same Apple ID as mine is here, you'll see that you can see my camera. There's my camera back there, and this is my screen, and you can see me in all these different angles. So this is my FaceTime camera. That's hilarious. But yeah, and so that's my iPhone camera right there connected. Now, if you don't have an iPhone camera with an Apple computer with the Apple computer and an iPhone with the same ID, you will have to explore another way. And I recommend that you would do something like an NDI HX camera. It's not going to be as reliable as the iPhone solution, but if you go to your screens and you download the NDI HX camera app or some other NDI app, you can go over here to the screens options and select NDI from there, and you will see. Let me pull up my same phone, and I'll turn on the NDI HX camera, and you will see it. All right. So I'm going to hit the little NDI button. So it's streaming, and I'm going to come out of this and come back to it so you can see it on this network. It should be an additional device added. There we go. So there's my iPhone camera. It's just a little bit more choppy to me. And so as I move my camera around, you'll see that it's not fluid like the other solution that we had with iPhone, with the Apple computer, with the same ID. All right. And I think it's called Apple Continuity. I think somebody told me that, which is really cool. Oops, there goes my remote. That's all good though. All right. So that is the answer to that. Quick and simple. Okay. Let's go back over. And then someone said, thanks for the clarification for finding verses fast. Okay. So that was just probably a reply to something, is my guess. All right. And that was Destiny AEP. And then this was Solomon YSF. All right. In there, Tony, I think your question got answered. Thank you to SBU Media. Jim, in the meantime, said, can you use two templates? We talked about that a little bit. Jay Snow said, is Cloud Sync like a universal login for FreeShow? No, it is not. That's a great question. We'll talk about that. All right. So let's do, I'm gonna come back to that one, Jay Snow, and let's talk about what Sheila asked. So Sheila, in FreeShow, I'm in a beta version, but typically this is going to be generally what you're going to see. All right. To how to create a show in FreeShow, there's a lot of videos I've made about that. I'm going to recommend, let me go back to my channel here. Let's go to, I'm going to go to your channel, which is mine, and we'll say videos. I would recommend you go into this one here. Slides in FreeShow is a big one, but there was another one. Let me see. I'm going to go to my playlist. And it's called FreeShow Show Automation Overlays. FreeShow Tutorials. Let me see, did I skip it? Show Tutorials. There we go. Show Tutorials in FreeShow. So if I select this, I'm going to pause it. I don't want to play an ad. All right. So in here, control video slides, beginner setup. This is the one I would recommend for you, Sheila, the beginner setup, and then the build and master shows. All right. So I'm not going to go in detail about, I know that's really small for you guys. All right. So hopefully that's a little bit bigger, but I'm not going to go into detail on this show how to do it, but I would go to my show tutorials for FreeShow, and I'm going to see if I can share this with you. No, not from there. Let me go back.
What's going on, everybody?
Go back again. All right. So playlist, show tutorials. It doesn't let you share them. Okay. I'll say view playlist. All right. So here we go. Boom. I should be able to click that, copy that, and let me share this with you in there. So this is at Sheila. this will be the best way, because then you can learn at your own pace. And I don't want to make you feel rushed or anything like that. Okay. But those are all really, really important. All right. Really helpful, hopefully. All right. Now let's go back in and let's talk about this idea of, oh my goodness, I zoomed in so much on, and it happened on all of my my screens. All right. So this idea of cloud sync. All right. Now, just for the record, there is, if we have time, we'll go to the free show page and look at, no problem, Sheila. We'll look at the beta 2. Okay. There's some interesting stuff I want to check out, but I have not checked it out. I've downloaded it, but I've not checked it out yet. All right. So let's talk about cloud sync. All right. This idea of cloud sync with FreeShow. If I go to my settings and I go over to the option for files on the left side there, you will see cloud sync. All right. And I don't think I can make this bigger. No, that doesn't make it bigger. I have to change my whole resolution for you guys to see this a little bit bigger. But so I'm going to disconnect from church apps. I'm going to give you guys an overview of what this means and how it works. All right. So the idea is, how would we describe this? When it comes to cloud sync, there's a lot of different ways to approach it. All right. I'm gonna come. This is me getting to share a little bit. So this is the philosophy behind it, as far as I know. There's a couple main ideas. And if I asked you guys earlier on, if I asked earlier on how you guys are using cloud sync, and Mark says, I use the cloud sync to save time and set up the show from home on my trusty MacBook Pro. I love it. All right. So this is one example of a reason that cloud sync is really powerful, because cloud sync literally means you have 2 devices. That's the basis of it. 2 devices. It doesn't really make sense if you don't have 2 computers. All right. 2 computers. Now, the other part of this is both computers is beneficial, or it's necessary, I should say, for them both to have access to the internet. That's another step in this whole process. They both have to have access to the internet. 2 devices, 2 internet connections, maybe at home and maybe at the office, maybe at home, maybe at the church, maybe at the office and maybe at church. 2 devices, 2 internet connections. Okay. Totally separate, but they're connected through this option to cloud sync. This is what Mark does. He's at home on his computer, on his trusty MacBook Pro, and he's making edits and he's doing this thing. And then he goes into his settings up here in the cloud sync, and he would select this option to connect to church apps. And what it does is it brings up this window to log into church apps. Okay. What church apps does, or B1 Church, not church apps, but B1 Church allows you to store your cloud, your data, your metadata, I'm gonna call it metadata for lack of better words, but your settings and all that kind of stuff from FreeShow, to store them on the cloud, so that on the other computer that you've got logged in, you can actually download that data from the cloud onto the other computer. So from home to the cloud to the church. All right. And that's what you can do. All right. So that's the beauty of it. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Okay. That's like, let's say, I'm gonna call it a one-man band for lack of better words, but that's if you're just one person and you want to get your data from one computer to another computer. That is the quick and simple way. All you have to do is create one B1 Church account, make a team, add yourself to that team, log into that team on church apps, or log in with that email address that you put in church apps into B1 Church, put that into FreeShow on, when you go here, it'll have you connect, you'll put that information here. And then when you get here, it'll just say, okay, whatever the name of the team was that you made, right? So he would call his Mark's team, right? Or team Mark, right? Mark Media or something like that. And when he does that, when he gets to the church, he can go to the files in his FreeShow settings, go to connect to church apps, put in the same email address, and say, hey, I want to download everything from the cloud and merge the data from this computer to my other computer as well. And it'll automatically do that. And it'll automatically give him all the shows that he created. Now, the other part of that piece is the idea of cloud sync is not just the metadata, but the goal is that you will have access to your media files as well, because it's on 2 different computers that have 2 different set of pictures, 2 different sets of movies and videos and folders and all that kind of stuff. Maybe one's an Apple, one's a Windows computer. That's still possible with cloud sync, but for your media, any graphics or videos, those have to be carried over a different way. Okay, you need to carry those over through another provider. So a lot of folks currently use Dropbox as a share folder, Google Drive as a share folder, anything like that, OneDrive, any of those particular programs will work to store your media in. Now, the cool thing with FreeShow is they have an option when you do connect here. So I'm gonna connect real quick and you'll see me here. So I'm gonna go into here and I'll do this account and I'll put in my email and my password. Oh, I think I cleared out. Let me see. As I've been preparing. Okay, so here we go. So it says, okay, would you like FreeShow? FreeShow would like to access the following data from Kingdom ETC. So I've actually made a church account in B1 Church. You can do that. It's completely free. And then it says, it's got this option for plans. It doesn't say anything on plans. I'm gonna just say allow. And now when I go back in here, it says there is existing, oh, sorry. It says there's existing data for you. So I put in my username and password. You guys could see that. And so it's there. I came back and it says, hey, merge the data. All right. And so I can merge it. It says keep the latest changes from both the local and the cloud data. That's an option. Or I can set it to where this device is a read-only device. This is my main computer. So I would select merge. All right. Now on my church computer, I might say I just wanted to read only. Okay. Now there's some benefits to that, but there's also some downsides. If it's just a one-man band, if it's just you, always the one making all this work, merging it is not a big deal, okay? But read-only is helpful if it's going to be, you're the source computer, but the church computer is going to be used by a lot of different people, and they may do some things or add some shows that you don't necessarily need to have or have access to, and you don't necessarily care to have them on your computer. Then you would select the option to read-only, okay? So that's important for us to understand as well. When we talk about this idea of cloud sync, it gives you quite a bit of flexibility. So for me, I'm gonna select this merge option, all right? Now this doesn't do anything because this computer was the source of all the data already anyway. So you're not gonna see many changes or anything like that come up. But let me see if I can log into another computer here and show you guys. I tried to do it on my Windows computer a while back and it was not pretty. All right, it did not work out well. I say work out well because I didn't have it plugged into power. That's, I think, the main reason. All right, so let me try something here. I'm gonna log into another computer at the house. And we will do high performance, one display. All right. So you all should be able to see my screen here. So this is a whole other computer. And actually, let me check her screen. I'm not sure what she has on her screensaver. This is my wife's computer actually for her office. And I think she's got some projects she's been working on and they may show up. All right, let me minimize these and these and this and that. Okay, hold on. I'm just making sure everything is in sync and good to go. Let's do, okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. Now she does not have, I don't know what version of, so here's her FreeShow here on her computer. She's got version 1.5.6, all right? Now notice what I created for her is this. Okay, so I've got it set up to where on my FreeShow, I have an admin account, Campus 1, Campus 2, Campus 3. I was doing some testing, so that's something you'll see in a future video. But basically what you got here, this is a whole different computer, right? I'm just logged into it, totally different computer, all right? I can log in as admin, or I can go in as Campus 1, Campus 2, or Campus 3. I'm gonna go in as admin so you guys can see exactly what happens. And it says, are you sure? I'm gonna say yes. All right, so now I've got this here and I've got it set to where it's showing all 571 shows. If I go back to my settings here, if I go under files, you see that it's in sync and I got a sync folder called FreeShow Volunteers. I'm going to disconnect from this and I'm going to delete everything. I'm gonna go to other and I'm gonna reset everything, okay? And it says this will reset the whole program, but not delete the .show files on your show folder, okay? That's fine. Now I'm going to go to my show folder and I'm going to clear that out just so we can kind of start from scratch. I probably should have skipped this. Let me see. I usually skip this whole walkthrough, which is pretty cool, but I still skip it. All right. And so now we need to clear out some stuff. So let's go to, oh, it's still going. Okay. Let's go to the settings. And I got my open cache folder, open error, open data folder, open user data folder, empty shows, duplicated, bundle all media. I want to just clear all the media. So let me go here and I'm gonna go into documents, FreeShow. Let's see if we can find FreeShow. All right, here's a folder that's in my backups. This is the one we want. Okay, so here we got this shows folder. When I go in, there's a bunch of shows. I'm gonna clear all those out. I'm just right click and move them to the trash. All right, completely cleared out. Now, when I go into here, let's go back into show. We go to shows. Still showing all those there. Now I'm gonna clear them out of here. And let's do here. And I'll say select all, I think. Here we go. And I'm going to just hit delete. Oh, it says could not find a show. That's good. So we'll say delete. And it's asking, do I want to delete all of them? Yes, 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 yes. And I'm just clearing this all out so you guys can see that it actually will sync up and how it will do that. All right. So now her computer has none of that stuff. No shows, no nothing. So I can close this out. And it's closing the app. And when I open it back up, you will see completely cleared out FreeShow. Okay. No shows, media's there, that's fine. Overlays, all the default overlays, 7 of them. And then templates, let's see here. A bunch of default templates here, really cool. 20 songs, all defaults. You'll see the little shield icon. Those are all default settings there, okay? Now, I'm gonna go back into my FreeShow. You can tell mine is a totally different color, okay? And I'm going to disconnect from church apps again, and I'm going to go back in and we're going to do this login option. All right. Now, the very first thing you want to do is you want to create a church apps account. And I think we've talked about this. So I'm going to log into my admin.b1.church is what you want to go to. When you do that, it'll give you an option. This is where you want to create your account. All right. If you don't have one, you just register an account. All right. So I'm going to go to my account. And I'll put in my password. Let's see here. All right, so here's what we got. This is my dashboard for B1 Church. This is what you would need to create for your church. If you're a one-man band, this is going to be pretty simple. You would add in your church name and your church address, and then you would be the admin for your B1 Church account for your church. And it doesn't mean or do anything until you all start to populate and add content to it. For FreeShow, the main thing we're going to do is we're going to go to this option that says serving. All right. I just went up here to this little drop down right next to the logo and I just selected serving. All right. And then from here, we got teams. I'm going to just clear out all of my teams and everything for now. All right. So we got campus media. I made that one, and let's do remove here and let's delete this team. I'm going to set it up to be exactly what you all would see. And then we'll go back to serving. I want to do the same thing for this one. I'll remove this person off of there and I will delete this team. Okay. You guys can see some backwards manufacturing. All right. Okay. So now when I go back to my serving, you're going to see something that looks like this. Plan types, create a plan, and no teams found. Teams, create a team. All right. So you're going to start out with something like this. All you would do is hit this option that says create team. And then you want to name your team. Now, this called teams because teams are what work in the church, right? So people that work and serve together, they're part of the same team, okay? Let's see here. Back up to physical hard drive. Yeah, Verbaceous Brian. Yeah, don't depend on the sync only. Always back up to a physical hard drive. Send yourself an email, put it on a thumb drive, something like that for sure. And I think it's really going to be just a good rule of thumb for anybody that's in media. You guys are probably already thinking like that, like Brian is talking about, like I think as well. Have a clear backup. This is really helpful if you got both people on site, right? If you're at home and somebody else is there, they can confirm that it's there. Then maybe it makes sense. But if you can't confirm it because you're here and you're not even at the church yet, I would still bring a copy, bring my computer, do something consistent. All right. So I'm going to put in a name for this team. I'm going to call this one FreeShow Friday Media Team. All right. Now, for you and your church, you might just call it Media Team, right? You might call it Sunday Service Team, right? You can make different teams. So I'm going to say add. And now I've got this team called FreeShow Friday Media Team. Okay. Now, the cool thing is, like I said, you can make multiple teams. So I can make a whole nother team and I can make this team be called Wednesday Night Media. All right. These teams are going to represent different synced content. Okay. So the leader of Wednesday Night can have a whole group of people that can share the content from FreeShow for the Wednesday night group, and they just share it on their computers. Totally separate from the FreeShow Friday media team that has a different set of content, maybe for Sundays or Saturdays, whenever your church may meet, okay, for your main service. So you might call it main media team and then Wednesday media team. You might have another one called youth media team, okay? Now, once you have that, you want to go into these teams, you can click over here on the team or you can click on manage, but it's completely blank. There's nobody in there. You can't sync a team if there's nobody in the team, all right? So we got to go to search and it's going to say, okay, where's the person? So I've added some people already. So I can add this particular person here. So I got Gary Bikes and I got GH6 Panasonic. If you don't have any, it'll give you the option to add people. So you would just add people in. And the people have, it takes you to the people tab and you click on a person, but they have their email account. So this is the email account I'm going to use. And then you can add in notes about the people. You can see which groups they're in. So they're in this FreeShow Media Team group, which is the team is a back-end group. The groups are like public groups where anybody can sign up. The teams are really assigned, okay, like a media team, all right? And then donations. This program allows you to see all that. I don't have any of that, so I'm gonna go back to my groups, go back to my people, go to serving. So I've got one person now in FreeShow Friday Media Team, okay? Only one person. That one person is all you need to do a basic sync. So I got FreeShow Friday Media Team. I'm going to go to back to FreeShow, and I'm going to say connect to church apps. And that one person that's in there, I'm going to log in as them. Oh, I did not get to log in as them because it kept my my stuff. So let me clear out my cache. Chrome, clear browsing data, and we'll just say, yeah, last 24 hours. Because I think I did that yesterday. I can't remember. I cannot remember. All right, so we'll clear that out. All right, now let's go back. Let's connect to church apps. Should let me log in. Perfect. So you guys saw that Gary at Kingdom etc. Boom. And then I'm gonna put in my password. This is different than my admin account. I actually made a user or person in the fellowship and I named them and I gave them an email account. It just happens to be mine, but this is different than my admin account. My admin account is not in a team. So it didn't show up when it automatically logged me in. So I'm gonna say sign in and it pops up and says, would you like to give access for FreeShow to access some stuff? And I'm gonna say allow. And now we can go back into FreeShow and check out what happens. It says FreeShow Friday Media Team. Now I can hit my drop down here and I can say read only. I can do, it's got the name here. I can name this particular one. This is actually new with the beta 2. Okay, so beta 2 lets you do that. And then let's see here. If I were a part of if there were different teams, you can hit this and it should give you an option to change teams. Then I've got a media sync folder. This is what we were talking about earlier. Once you do connect to sync, you then can create a media folder, okay? And that media folder gives you access to, I actually tied it to my Google Drive, okay? So my Google Drive is only on my computer. So I don't have that synced up and connected on my wife's computer. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into my FreeShow And you're going to see here, I have 566 shows in here. All right. I'm going to go back into my settings, and I'm going to select this option to say sync now. Okay. And I get this drop down, and you'll see here. Oh, all right. So this is my name of my computer. It's there. That's my MacBook. And it's not set to read only. It's off. Read only is off. But on my wife's computer, I'm going to set it to where it's on read only. Okay. And then it's got media sync. I'm not going to be syncing any media, but that just saves the media in one folder. And that folder is going to be one I can actually add to my wife's computer if I want to. All right. So now I'm going to go back to my wife's computer, and this is a different whole FreeShow account, whole different computer. All right. We look at the shows she's got. She's got none. All right. So we're going to go in. We're in 156, the most stable version, right? Not a beta. I'm going to go to settings, and I'm going to go to, now I'm at the church. So this is my church computer, let's say. We go to files, and I say connect to church apps. Now I log in with that same account as a one-man band. This is the general way to do it. So I'm going to go Gary at Kingdom ETC. And I'm going to put in the same password for that account because it's in church apps or in B1 Church. And I'll say sign in. All right, same pop-up. Do you want to give FreeShow access? I'm going to say allow. And it says you can close this page. So I'll go ahead and close the page. And now I've got some options here because it says, hey, there's some data on the cloud. What would you like to do? And it says you can keep the latest changes from both the local and the cloud data. You can read only. You can merge cloud data with the local, but it never uploads local changes. So I'm going to say read only to where I merge the cloud data with what I already have, which is nothing, but never upload any changes locally. Okay. So from her computer, we're just going to download everything. So I'm going to select that. And now it says backup is complete. And then it just kicked me out because that was the settings that I had on my other computer. You guys never saw me log in, but this is what it looks like when I log in. It's campus 1, 2, and 3. Now, I will say this. On the new version of FreeShow, it looks even cooler. So I'm going to close this and show you guys what it looks like real quick. It's saving now, I think, so I can close it. You see it up here in the upper left. All right. So now the way FreeShow looks is super cool. Let me pull it up. I say super cool. Cool to me. All right, so this is what it looks like now. Now, I got to put in a ticket for this. I don't know why it shows this on the Mac. It does not do that on the Windows, but it has any user profiles that you created. So I made 3 profiles. I was doing some testing. That's coming soon. And then I've got this admin here down below on my wife's computer. Let's see, where's hers at? Okay, hers looks like this right now, which is still cool. I like the circles, don't get it wrong. But I like the admin being at the bottom and then these profiles being the main thing. But I'm going to go to my wife's admin account, okay? So I'll say admin. We're going to say yes. And this is where, if it's a one-man band, being an admin is pretty expected, pretty typical. Okay. Now let's see if it's done syncing. I'm going to say sync now. Let's see. I'll just say sync now just to make sure. You'll see the little icon up there. It's done. So I'm going to go to show. And now she has 565 shows here. All right. Unlabeled 62. And then you'll see all different shows, all the category actions, all that stuff carried over. Overlays. Let's see, did I have any? I don't know if I had any special overlays that I created. There's 18 effects. So I did have some effects. These are all effects that I made. So that's all coming from my computer. I remember that. Templates, 42 of them. Earlier, I think there was only like 20. You'll see here there was only, I think it was 20 in songs. I remember that. And now there's 24 because there's my blur box metadata that we just created today. Okay, that all is synced up and it's there. Okay, so that's how the sync feature works at a very basic level. I'm working on some tutorials that will actually show even more advanced stuff. That's what that campus 1, 2, and 3 is about. Just testing out to see, to make sure that I can tell you guys properly. Obviously, like I said, that's the goal, that it will allow you to have different teams and they can sync to different computers. Okay, that requires me to have different computers all synced up and all that kind of stuff. So I'm working through that now. Let's see here. Someone asked, Jay Snow said, so let's see here. Tony Mobley, let's see. Our church is totally virtual right now. Moving into building later this year. Can you share if Zoom meeting and FreeShow is a good way to continue virtual worship? Yeah, I think it would be fine. I think it's fine. I'll show a demo of that real quick in a second, Tony. Let me see here. Okay. And then Jay Snow says, so templates can download as well. Yeah, you can download templates if you need to. If you want to download your templates, I'm trying to think of the best way to do that. I thought it was a way to export. Let me see. Is there a way to export? Yeah, we go to export here. That's for shows. No, 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 no. For your templates, I believe you just go to your folder. Let's see here. That's just that. That's just a new category. I'm just right clicking to see. I can delete and rename. To export a template, I would just go to my settings. I would just go to my settings folder, which is where we were earlier. And so in your FreeShow folder, if I go back, you will have backups, Bibles, config, exports, imports. Under your config, you'll have templates. So I would just import that. So you can import your templates and just export them out and then save them to a thumb drive, send it to yourself in an email or whatever it is. Really small file, 45 kilobits, and you can import that wherever you want to. Okay. So yes, you can, Jay Snow. Now, Tony says, hey, and so hopefully that gives you guys a good overview of how to use the sync feature based on what Jim said, the way he uses it. And then I think that was the only, I'll go back into mine's. That was the only other one. I think Jim says something about how he uses the cloud sync. And Mark says, okay, he uses the cloud sync to save time and set up the show from home on the trusty MacBook. Oh, wait, that was Mark. I'm sorry. I think somebody else. Okay. We'll be doing this. Okay, Jim says we'll be doing the same setup from home and then use usage from 2 churches, all Windows systems. All right, so at Jim, my question is, we'll be doing the same setup from home and then usage from 2 churches. Tell me what that means, usage from 2 churches. Does that mean 2 churches at the same time are going to have access to what you created at home? Or is it you're taking your computer to 2 churches? Or let me know. Let me know what that's about. That was what I had questions about earlier. Let's see here. So Timmons can download as well. Okay. Now, going to Tony's question. Using FreeShow, can you, okay. Our church is totally virtual right now. Moving into a bit later this year, can you share if Zoom meeting and FreeShow is a good way to continue virtual worship? It's really going to be dependent on the way that you guys virtually meet. And so what I would say to that is, I'm going to open up Zoom real quick and let you see what the way I would approach it. All right. And let's see. It may or may not be worth it to use it. It just really depends on the flow of your service. So if your pastor gives you their notes and they want you to show those notes, or, and like I said, if everybody's at home, it may not make sense because they can just show the notes themselves, or you can just use a PowerPoint or something like that and just share the screen as that. I think FreeShow really shines if they want you to pull up scriptures randomly. Okay, that would be the biggest benefit of FreeShow. And so I've got a Zoom meeting. I'm gonna do new meeting here. And what FreeShow does, or what Zoom does, it pops up and says, okay, what camera do you want to use? Okay. Now this is where it gets interesting because you want to have a fairly robust computer because you will need to run Zoom, you will need to run FreeShow, and then my personal preference is to use OBS as well. So I will be running 3 different programs. Excuse me. I actually do have virtual meetings that are all virtual with for Bible study and things like that. And I'm the host though. Okay. Since I'm the host, I know how to use FreeShow, I know how to use OBS, and I know how to use Zoom. I just manage everything from those particular programs. But if you are the support person and your pastor is the main person teaching, it could become cumbersome because if you're not in the same house or location as they are, same place, then it's going to be hard to get a good camera feed of them and then have lower third show up under them without being in the same place. Okay. The main thing that I would say is beneficial with this is that you would be able to see the scriptures and you just make that be your feed in the program. So if I say right now, I got my custom combination here of my audio. I'll keep my audio, whatever you want. Like I said, I got my Rode Wireless Go, But then I would probably go into, and this, hopefully it doesn't break the program, but I'm going to say start virtual camera because I'm in OBS. So I'm going to start my virtual camera in OBS and I'm going to select here. And you got OBS virtual camera, FaceTime, Gary's iPhone, and all these other settings. If I go to OBS virtual camera, watch what happens. It shows whatever's on my output for this particular program. So now I'm gonna go into FreeShow real quick and let you see what that would look like. If I were to go to scripture and I were to go to a verse, and now I've got that going on, but I'm gonna go to just showing my primary. Okay. My tablet's going out. I gotta figure out how to get that charged. All right. So now this is what will be showing up as your Zoom screen. And I'm just getting the charger real quick. But this is what you can do in Zoom using FreeShow, is that you can make your whole screen be the scripture, right? And then I can go in. You guys don't, you can see my screen, but let me see. I guess you guys can't see my screen. Let me see. Let's do, how would I do that so you guys can see what's going on? But this is what we're going on the program. So I can change the verses, and this is what you would be showing on your camera, right? And so this is what your folks on your team would be able to see. They would be able to see the scriptures showing up really big while the pastor's teaching, so forth and so on. That's the biggest benefit of using FreeShow with OBS in that setup. All right. Now, once you do get into your sanctuary, then you can put it to where there's lower thirds below and all that kind of fun stuff. And that's just a different setting. Okay. But yes, so I would say there's a benefit to it if you're going to be showing scriptures live. If you guys don't show scriptures live and everybody's just turning to it in their Bible, which is fine, then it really wouldn't be a big benefit of using FreeShow with Zoom with OBS, except if you are the leader. Okay, so if you're the leader, like I do, I actually use it and I'll show my scriptures and I'll read them and I'll have people read for me out loud what the scriptures say through it. So it's a very engaged situation. It's like a Bible study with some young men. So I actually have them, we take turns reading. And so I'll make my whole camera be the OBS feed, basically the projector screen of what will be showing up in the church. I make my whole camera feed be that with using OBS and FreeShow together. So it's almost as if I act like I'm at a church service and I'm the pastor, but I'm also the media team at the same time, right? And so I have a lot of flexibility because I can have my own camera and I can set it up however I want to. I can make my camera be wherever I want to, just like I do now with FreeShow, to where I can set up to where it looks like that, and then I can do something like that. And I can put myself in there, all using FreeShow, OBS, and Zoom. And I can talk and I can say, okay, let's have the next volunteer read. Who wants to read the verse? And I would just look at I'll be in the camera, just a little circle, but this is because the camera and the computer and all the programs are in the same place. So if you want to go to where your pastor is and set something up like this, you can still be the media person and have them on camera. That would be really cool, right? I know when COVID happened, a lot of churches did that, where the media team and the pastor partnered up, and they would meet up at the same house and they would be in conjunction in the same space. And I actually consulted a lot of churches that did that, which is really cool. Okay. So you've got that flexibility, but it does require some movement of some sort, right? To where it would be different than everybody being at the same house. Maybe it's a husband and wife team. The husband or the wife is the media person, and then the other spouse is the main speaker or teacher. That would be really cool, right? So if my wife wanted to speak and I wanted to be the media person, it would be perfect because I would set the camera up and do all that, and it would be we'd be doing it like this, like FreeShow Friday, where everything's live. I'm switching between scenes and having verses in the lower thirds and all that kind of stuff. But that's just something that I like to do. I'm comfortable doing it, so you can feel free to do that. Okay. Let's see. So let's go back to what Jim says. Hopefully that answers a little bit of your question, Tony. Jim says 2 churches. Our pastor alternates every other week. Okay, we live stream from. Oh, I remember this. Okay, we live stream from where he is at to the other church. And for the internet viewers, home system will be master. Both church computers will be read only. Got you. And so basically, you're in one place at a time, is what I'm hearing you say. You're going to be in one of the churches at a time, but you want to make sure they both have the latest and greatest and simple stuff set up. Makes a lot of sense. All right, so let's see here. So Timbers can download as well. Yep. So good way to continue virtual worship. Oh, yeah, the other cool thing is you can put your song lyrics up that way too, right? So if you want to use FreeShow for song lyrics, Tony, that would be another reason. But if you got YouTube videos that have lyrics on them, that might be even easier. I've been a part of some fellowships where it's virtual. They meet virtually most every week, except once a month they meet in person, right? And that happens to where they just play YouTube videos. and they just do that. And you guys may be doing that already, right? To where they just play a YouTube video and share that screen, and everybody can worship on their own pace, their own time, in terms of their own space, I just say. But the YouTube video is in sync and plays for everybody, and you just mute everybody's line and let the video play, so it doesn't, reverb or echo, and it plays pretty seamlessly. That would be my recommendation for completely virtual. I'm trying to think about if you were, like I said, for me, with churches that live stream, then like I said, everything's live, right? So you wouldn't necessarily need a YouTube video. You just have your camera facing your worship team or your choir, your praise team, whoever it is, and then have your lyrics showing up in FreeShow over lower thirds on your live stream. Okay. So Jim says yes, only in one place at a time, but you got two computers there. Makes a lot of sense. Okay. What other questions do you guys have? I was going to jump into the updates in this new beta, but I want to hear if there's any other questions about the syncing feature. I tried to do my best to explain that. Like I said, I'm working on a way to edit a video that explains that and makes some sense of it, because it is going to be a task to show multiple computers and all this multiple teams and all that fun stuff, but it's possible. Okay. And the cool thing is, like I said, one person can be in multiple teams. It's just crazy. The benefit, or the scope and depth of it can go as far as you want to. You guys saw I had some profiles set up for campuses and things like that. So you can literally be one IT team or one media production team and have 5 different campuses and have them all sync with, and add different users, right? And still control them all from one computer. That's what I'm working on, a way to make it to where one main admin can control what all the churches see on all their computers. And basically it's just going to be based on the admin setup, having a password for that, and then setting up multiple profiles, right? So I've got it set up to where I got like 3 different profiles now representing 3 different churches or 3 different campuses, kind of like what Jim is talking about. And then being able to manage that using the folders. And so making those edits in those folders, if it's coming from one place or one leader, one team leader, they would have access to that folder and they can sync up that content. So it gets crazy deep, but it also can be really simple. And today we talked about a really simple way. Now let's see, I have a problem connecting. I have a problem connecting. I'm guessing you're saying more than 2 devices for stage, live, and service. Yes. So your problem is likely going to lie in the fact of your computer limitations. Word Reviver Center. How many, the question is, how many outputs can your computer support? That's a tongue, computer support. I never said that fast, but it sounded crazy. It sounded like a bunch of P's in there. But that's where your issue is going to run into. You're going to run into how many outputs. So my MacBook Pro, I got an M1 Pro, MacBook Pro 16-inch computer. It only supports the screen that it has, right, as a laptop, and then 2 other displays. For what you're talking about, you're trying to connect more than 2 displays, right? One for your stage, one for your live, and one for your services. Now, your live stream one, I wouldn't necessarily make that be a physical display. It doesn't need to be a physical display. I would make that all NDI, okay? So we'll go back. I'm going to close this out. I'm going to leave my Zoom meeting. Let's talk about this real briefly. Now, the solution may be in some hardware, and I don't know where my device is, but you guys know I always talk about it. I'm just looking to see where I might have put it. My Orion split extender. Oh, it fell on the floor. Hold on, let me see. All right, so this device would be what I would recommend to solve that problem, even if you have a Windows or a Apple computer. Okay, it's called an Orion split extend, and what it does is it gives you 4 additional HDMI. So if you're using HDMI, this will be the way to go, and it has a USB on this end that is convertible to be USB-C or USB-A. Okay, so completely up to you. Most modern computers use USB-C, and then desktop computers still have the USB-A. Okay. Now, with this device, you plug it up to your computer, you download the software or the plug-in for it or whatever. Let me get the light to it and get some light to it. Boom. You can see those 4 ports on there. But the cool thing about it is it turns my laptop into not being limited to 2 displays, but actually adds 4 more. okay, which is really cool. Now, what that means is you can go into your settings on your computer and you would see whatever your setup is. And so when you go to your outputs now, let's see, I got this primary output. I got it set to NDI and I got it set to an invisible window. This loop one, okay, it's not set to that. So I can go here and you'll see my screen setup. All right. Right now I've got 1, 2, 3 screens. If I do this view thing, you'll see that this is number 3. Okay, up here at the top. And then let me make sure you guys can see this. Yeah. All right. And then this computer right here is the one that's behind me right there. That's number 2. And then this is my laptop here, number 1. This is what the Orion split extend will allow you to have 4 more devices there. Okay. Now, the cool thing is the idea behind FreeShow to me is that you don't necessarily need everything to be a physical output. If you want to have your live stream just be over NDI, which is definitely a doable thing, you can do that just by turning on this invisible window option. Now, if you got your live stream coming out and you want to go into an ATEM switcher and you're doing green screen to where it keys it out and all that stuff, then I get it. So you're going to need a physical output for that, which is definitely doable. FreeShow supports that. You just got to make sure your computer can, and that usually is going to be where the Orion split extender comes in. I will send you the best link I know of. I don't know how much is running these days, but I'm gonna go back to my channel. Let's see here. And the reason I'm going back to it because it does give a full video to kind of break down how it works in terms of the setup. I'm just trying to, okay, here we go. So right here, so this expand your displays, there should be a link to it. That's the other part. So there's an affiliate link in that. If you want to support this channel, that's one of the best ways you guys can support is buying or recommending that device. All right, let me see here. Now it says I am signed out. Let me see, can you guys, hopefully y'all can still hear me. All right, I'm still in, never mind. All right, split extend. So World Revival Center TV Belgique. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but that's a pretty cool name. But that would be the first step. Okay. Once you get that figured out in terms of getting your devices connected, let me get to my actual, this is my computer here. Once you get that figured out, now you'll be able to have as many, at least up to 4 more devices, monitors connected. And then you would just pick where you need each one to go. So I got a primary and a live stream. So right now my live stream is not active. So if I enable that, you'll see that it's an invisible and a transparent window. So you'll see the little grid boxes there. That means it's invisible. And I do all my lower thirds through NDI into OBS. So I don't need this to go to a physical screen. So if I select window here, there's no real window. It's just wireless, or it's over the network. Okay. Whether my network is wired or wireless. In this case, I'm wired up because I'm live streaming and it's going directly into my router. And I would still have OBS FreeShow running on the same computer, and I would just wirelessly send that signal to OBS using NDI. Okay. And so if I were to go to a verse, let's go to another verse, you'll see that this is what my live stream would look like. Okay. And it just has the scripture. Now this is something kind of funky there that is showing the scripture name there. I haven't fixed that part yet. I got to figure out what's going on with it. Been doing some testing and trying to figure that out, but that's a whole different story. All right. So that would be, and then your stage view, if I go back here, my stage is not active. If I go there, I'm going to turn into an invisible window for now, but your stage will be a physical window. You would go up here and you would see that window and you would pick one of those multiple windows that you've selected. But that seems to be the problem when you say that you can't connect. Okay. But once you can connect, it's as simple as picking the screen you want it to go to. So if I made this not be an invisible window and I go here, and I'll do, I'll make it go to my talk. I'm going to pick this window here, number 2, but I'm going to let you guys see what happens when I do it. So if I go here and I select that, that's what ends up happening. It shows the screen there. Okay. And I've got it set to be a transparent window, which is kind of cool. So it kept my background there and it just put the verses on top. I didn't even think about doing that, but I like that. Really simple, really cool, really clean. All right. So yes, you can do it. You just may need additional hardware to support that. Well, you guys. What other questions you got? I'm gonna give a quick water break. What are some other questions that come to mind before we jump into the latest update? All right, I don't see anything coming in. Let me see here. You guys have been asking some great questions, so keep it up. Keep growing and learning with this thing. This is all just a lot of fun stuff to me. I call this the fun stuff. I got a bunch of windows open here. Let me see. I'm gonna go to freeshow.church. I'll go to downloads. All right. And so if I go to Free Show and I go to the downloads page, you'll see something like this. You'll see version 1.5.7 beta 2 is available. So I say see all releases. And when you do that, it gives you, when you do that, it gives you the option to see all the data. All right. And yeah, so that device, I recommend it only because it's the cheapest device I could find that supports Windows and Mac. This is for World Revival Center, and it is stable. Like I said, I like it. It works. It works perfectly fine, especially if you're not using SDI, Black Magic Decklink type stuff. This is perfectly fine for HDMI runs. But if you need something more robust, you can do that. But it's going to probably cost you about 5 to 10 times as much, right? So $500 to maybe $1,500. So let's talk about this. The 1.5.7 beta 2, it says you can set dynamic timer values. That's kind of cool. It says, let me make this a little bit bigger. It says you can import, it has import enhancements. I don't know what those import enhancements were. And I think it has to do with improved PowerPoint imports. And then it has the media item cropping. Now I have not played with that. Media item cropping. I'm gonna go to my media. Let's see if we can find an item. Pictures. I think I got a picture of me in here. Let me see. There's a picture of me working on some stuff. So I can right click on this maybe and edit. Let me see. I got cropping right there. Boom. So I can crop the right and it crops the picture. And then it starts zooming in on the picture. That's pretty cool. Okay. And I just right clicked on that image. I can crop the bottom. So you can cut certain things out of your picture if you don't want it in there. I love that. I want to zoom out to see the whole thing, but I can't see the whole thing right away. Let me see here. Okay. The left, you can do the same thing. Crop me out the left, and you'll just see the picture automatically adjust. And then the top as well, you can crop the top and make those adjustments. It's wherever you need to, real time, which is really helpful. Okay. I got all my stuff all mixed up. Let me put this in the order I'm used to it being. All right, so Free Show is usually right here. And then this is usually right there. All right. And so let's see, immediate auto locate improvements. That's cool. Scripture split tolerance. Okay, scripture split tolerance. Never heard of that before. Let's go to show. We're just looking at some of the latest and greatest so far. Scripture split tolerance. If I hit this options, it says split long verses. Boom. And then it gives you that. Let me see here. And then it shows you the tolerance there. And so size is 100, tolerance, I don't know. Let's see. I can make it be, I'll say 2. I don't know what that does. So I got, this is Genesis 1:11. It's kind of a long verse. I'm going to go back and let's see if it made it any different. It seemed like it made it a little different. Let me turn the tolerance up. I don't know what that means. I'll double it to 4. It ends with what happened here. And that's the whole verse. Still showing the whole verse there. If I make it 0, still what happened there. I'm just trying to see if I can make it to where, I don't know how high this tolerance thing will go. And I'll move my head out the way. So you guys can see what I'm doing here. Okay. And so I'm just down here and I selected split long verses, and then it gives me this option for the tolerance. So I'm gonna say 50. So it changes that. I don't know what it does here. Still does that there. I don't even see any verses split, but it does it, I'm sure. I just don't know how to manage a chat. Let's see if I go to 1. I'm used to seeing like an ABC options there for long verses, but these verses just aren't that long. Maybe I'll make the size bigger. Let's do 200. Verse 11. No, let's see. Yeah, I don't see it in terms of how. Oh, this is, no, that's not suffix, but yeah. Split long verses is there and it has a tolerance. I just don't know how to work it yet. We'll have to figure it out. So I'm gonna refresh that. It's set to 0 now. But typically I'm used to it showing like A, B, and C. I just don't know what the longest verses are in the Bible. That's what I would have to do to text it. All right. Let's see. Cloud Sync. See connected devices. That's pretty cool. I didn't check that out. So connected devices. If I go here, if I go to files now, I wonder if I will be able to see. I see Gary's MacBook there. I don't see my wife's computer on there, but she is connected. Let me double check. Yep, FreeShow Media Team. Let me see. This one just says read only. This is the 156 version. So this is what it originally looked like. So you couldn't even see your device name. Now I can go here and I can see the name, but it doesn't give me a drop down of other names. It just shows my name. So I'm wondering when it says see connected devices, where it can see those at. I'm curious, but I see this name here, which is really cool. Yeah, pretty cool. And then press release action for icons. What? For icons? Stop. All right, so icons, you guys, are really cool. Icons are what shows up on your project. So I was in FreeShow training and we were doing this metadata test. This little icon here is the icon. So if I go to my shows, let's do, that was a song. Let's see if we can update. Change icon. You can hit change icon. I see that. But it said these are press release actions. Okay. So let's go to our actions. And I'm going to go to functions. I'm going to say new action. And I'm going to do test icon. And we'll say choose an action. We got show, clear. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a big part of the bigger list. So I'm going to hit this show more options. Okay, project. And you guys tell me if you see something that says anything about an icon in here. That would be crazy cool. Start show. Oh, I wonder if it's somewhere else. But I'm going to see. We're going to see. I see audio overlay clear. That's all clear stuff. Lock window style layout. Okay. Start audio, draw zoom, long song, log song usage to a file. That's pretty cool. That's an action now. I don't see any icon actions in here though. Start audio effect. Has anybody used this icon option? It's a press release action. So my question is, let me come out of this. I'll just go to a regular show. Okay. So how do I get to show, because I see icons here. If I right click on that, I see the action there. Let me see if I right click on this up here. It just lets you mark it as played, which is cool. You can rename it. The only other time I've seen press release is in here under special. And that's for the actual item that you have. The question is, how do you see that for an icon? How do you see the press release action for an icon? Change icon, category action, category template. Let me see something here. Yeah, I don't see how to do it, but that's pretty cool. And then text set variable updates and then updated languages and more tweaks. They did some cloud sync fixes, fixed the spacebar renaming issue. That was a big deal. Fixed content from template not visible in the output. This is one I think we're working through now. When I had that issue early on where we were trying to do the condition thing and showing the metadata for the title and the CCLI, I think there's still some kind of issue with that. Fixed camera screen on slide not starting. That's cool. Fixed the editor space rendering. Okay. Fixed item order when changing templates. So this is one that I'm working on too. I think that's a part of the challenge, is that it's just not reordering those right. And then scripture template action should now trigger. So scripture template action should now trigger. That's cool. So scripture template action. If you have templates here, so we got this right here. I can right click on this and I can select category action or category template. You can select and make a default template for all your scriptures and things like that, which is cool. I just clicked out just to kind of get it out the way. And then you can do max lines per text box, now working with multiple text boxes. That's interesting. And then other minor fixes. So max lines per text box. We got a lot of cool feedback down there. Max lines per text box. I have never seen that option for max lines per text box. That's crazy. If I right click in here, how do you format? No. Max lines. Letter spacing, word spacing. Okay. Lines. No, it's not there. That's just line spacing and so forth. Anybody use this max lines per text box? Let me see if I right click on it. Time until. I don't see any way to do it, but that is really crazy cool if you can. Dynamic values. Yeah, that would be interesting. Very interesting. All right. Well, those are all the updates for the beta 2. We've got to answer a lot of questions, or at least try to. That very first one that came from the community, I'm gonna wait. Like I said, we submitted a ticket for something else related to that, because the idea that I had doesn't seem to work yet, but maybe it'll work in a future update. We'll see. But I really bless you guys. I thank you for joining in. Like I said, that sync video, we're still working through it. I'm working on it. I got it actually working with getting a new editor, intern, I should say, for some video edits and things like that. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys next week. Look forward to joining in and check us out in the lab on Mondays at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Monday morning Eastern time, and then 11 o'clock on Fridays Eastern time in the morning. All right. But with that being said, you guys have a great rest of the day, and I will talk with you next time. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope it helped you in a major way. Now, at this point, most people would ask you to like and subscribe, and I think that's great. But my goal is a little bit different. My goal is to empower as many people as possible all over the globe. And there's one way that you can really help me do that, and that is to leave a comment below with a question, a thought, how this video may have helped you, or things that were left out that you still have questions about, and to share this video with someone just like you, someone who is looking for answers, someone who's curious and wants to grow. With your help, I believe we can build a community of people that want to grow together. So until next time.